Okay, we got some other folks joining us here from next door, I believe, but anyhow, let's hear from our winning car owner and our winning crew chief for the second consecutive week as they nail down race number 2 in the contender round, and that's the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford from Team Penske. We're joined by car owner and race team owner Roger Penske and crew chief Todd Gordon as Joey Logano wins the second consecutive race in the contender round. His 13th win overall, his 5th win in 2015. I'm going to start with you, Todd. Certainly building upon the momentum of last week, you win here at Kansas. You know, I've always been of the opinion that sports is all about momentum, and certainly you all have it right now.
Yeah, it's this section, you know, obviously Kansas is a place that we've run really well, and knew that we needed to pull out a win here in the first 2 to make Talladega what it was, and fortunate enough to get it last week at Charlotte, but knew that we could come here and run strong. Just a phenomenal effort by everybody. Pit crew did a good job. Joey drove his butt off today. Good hard racing out there.
Thank you, Todd. And Roger, you know, certainly these don't get old at all as Joey Logano continues to establish himself as somebody that these other drivers are going to have to beat to get the Sprint Cup trophy this year. So just talk about that and just about the you know, this driver that has just come on now and has really just established himself likely right now as the person to beat.
Well, I think we're you know, very fortunate to have, you know, Joey on our team. He came on here a few years ago, and it's really been up ever since, and there's no question that, you know, he and Brad, I've said it before, have made quite a bond together, and the 2 crew chiefs with Paul and Todd, they've worked together on the Nationwide Infinity, and then, of course, have come together here. So, you know, the speed we have is we got great cars, and it's really, when you think back of the guys at the shop that are building these cars every day, and certainly the way the pit crews have operated, you see we've made a big step on pit crews thanks to Todd and Paul, and I think Joey has stepped up his game tremendously. I mean, he's got confidence. He's a great driver, and I think that we've seen that. He's won on the road course. He's won on the big tracks, and there's no question that, you know, we're very fortunate to have him as one of our drivers, and I think that you know, he's going to be in the sport a long time and win a lot of races.
Questions now for either Todd or Roger. Raise your hand. We'll start here on the front row with Lewis, and we'll go over to Kenny. Go ahead.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Roger, you are a racer yourself, and ordinarily a leader, you know, chooses the line, but when a leader blocks, I was wondering what your take, you know, on that incident was.
Well, I was, you know, up on the outside, so I saw, you know, a couple times Joey got squeezed, you know, off of 2 and I think over in 3. And as they went down into 1, Joey had a fender up inside, or he was on the outside of the 20, and he got in the wall. I don't know if you saw that or not. And then he turned down. Joey did to take the lower lane, and there was another car up there, I think a slower car. And then Kansas came down. And unfortunately, they got together. I don't like to see that any more than anybody else does. It's one of those racing accidents. It's real tough when it's in this kind of a situation, but there was no question that that Kansas was doing everything he could to keep Joey from going by.
Let's go to Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com. Actually, I was going to ask the same thing, but I wondered if I could get Todd's reaction to that. As far as what did you see that was taking place when all that unfolded?
I saw 2 guys racing their butts off, and you know, Joey had a couple runs at Matt, and Matt blocked both of them, and unfortunately got us in the wall into turn 1, and you know, there's more contact that prevails beyond the contact to the wall, and it's just hard racing. 2 guys that want to win, and both have you know, they're both, and Joey's talked about it, they're both very competitive race car drivers, and they do a lot of similar things, and neither one of them was going to give there, and obviously it came out the way it did.
Let's go right here on the front row.
Todd, just, I don't think anybody's ever been in this position before where you've got, you know, 2 wins in a round. I mean, how much pressure do you feel like you guys were able to put on the rest of the Chase field by, you know, essentially, you know, locking everybody else, you know, out?
That was that. I mean, we talked about the team meeting ahead of time, and we've talked about it all week because, you know, the opportunity after you win Charlotte is that winners go on. And if you can go ahead and lock everybody else out, it puts everybody else that's a chase contender on edge going to Talladega. It's a great advantage. It's we'll take what we can, and it's a I haven't had a race Talladega needing to perform there with a win here last year, this team's done a great job of making sure that everybody else has to.
Go ahead, young lady, raise your hand, we'll get you the mic.
This question's for Todd. I'm Diane Cox, Advantage News out of St. Louis. With the chase format and I'm trying to remember how I was phrasing my question. I'll tell you what, can you come back to me, please? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. That's okay. We'll go right here. Brant James. Raise your head, Brant. And then we'll go to Stan and then Bob Pockris. Brant James, Stan, Bob Pockris.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. Has this new tweak on the playoff format, has this altered the rules of give and take of what, how drivers interact with each other in these sort of late race circumstances when there's eliminations and, now Matt Kenseth, a big win leader in the series this year is really in trouble to advance to that next round?
Well, I think the chase format was designed, to create tension, to create competition, and certainly pressure, on the teams and the drivers. From the standpoint of the way they drive on the racetrack, you just have to watch the restarts and see it's elbows and elbows out the window there every time. And I think this situation here at the end, as I said earlier, it's unfortunate. You don't like to see that, but if you go back and you look at it, frame by frame, I don't think you can say that Joey just ran into him on purpose. I think there was movement on the 20 car coming down on him, and certainly when he got in the wall, we didn't run in the wall in turn one just because we wanted to. So to me, it's unfortunate for Matt and Joe Gibbs, but I think the format is terrific. I mean, we're stepping up. Our guys are bringing better cars. We worked on these cars for months to have them available for this time of the year. And I think that we're starting to show that speed here as we get into the chase.
Stan, and then we'll go here. You have one? Yeah. Front row. Go ahead.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Todd, did you alter the approach towards the tail end of the race? Because you seem to be really quick for the short period, and then Kenseth would get in front of you. But there at the end, you seem to be quicker all along the way.
We build our race cars to do that. You have to look at the end of the race and checkered flag and race your race backwards. So I think we understand how we need to make our cars to be successful in that last stint, and how our cars need to be for the whole race. Honestly, we didn't have the speed the 48 or 20 had in the middle of the race. Had a tire come apart actually and fell back a little ways, but definitely had a strategy for how we wanted to end the race, and when the caution comes, and we're able to play that strategy and definitely find speed in our race car.
Let's go Bob Pockris, and then we'll go back to you.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. For Roger, I mean, not only was this a race for the win, but Kenseth being so far down in points, it virtually puts him in a must-win situation at Talladega. How much do you feel like their racing was for winning one race, and how much do you feel it was, knowing that if you can beat Matt, that his chances of moving on are much, much slimmer?
I don't think that at any time we were calculating, where Kenseth was going to be either out front or behind. I mean, the race, the checker flag hadn't fallen, and we were still racing. You could see the last pit stop, we had an excellent stop, came out there right up front. And to me, Joey, had more in the car. I think you'll see that when it's time to go. You saw it yesterday. We're back at 14th, and it was time to go, and the Infinity finished third. So, to me, as I said before, I mean, that's the game we're in. Last year, Brad had to go to Talladega and win that race to go to the next round. So that's going to be the case next week for a number of drivers.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Take two. Todd, again. It seems like you found your niche at Kansas. Were you able to roll off the trailer and kind of open up last year's book, repeat back-to-back years here at Kansas in this race? Were you able to just roll off and kind of know where to pick up, or did you have to kind of find your speed today?
Yeah, I don't think, the thing is if you ever tried to take a setup you had from the spring to the fall, you're going to slow down. Because you look at it, I think we were looking at it and pole speed was up a tremendous amount. Everybody makes the race cars better, but I think the thing that you look at is, we understand what we have to feel in our race car. Joey does a phenomenal job of it, of what we need to feel in a race car in practice to be successful come race time, because you really don't ever get to race the line that the track widens up come race time, and there's some things that happen with the track, and once you know what that offset is and what you're looking for in practice to be successful, you look for those same things. And we felt really good about our car yesterday. We had speed, but we had the balance that we needed to have to come forward racing, and it played out again.
Go ahead, front row.
Sean Roney, Dos Mundos newspaper for Roger and Todd. Afterward on television, Joey had said to NBC that he'd responded, he felt he was raced aggressively, and he responded by racing aggressively. And obviously, moving forward, as it gets closer to the Cup Championship, there's going to be more aggressive racing. As members of his race team, how do you prepare him for racing that's obviously going to get more aggressive?
I think that, he's got to race the guys around it. We don't race the car. We prepare the car, bring it to the track. So each one of these drivers know what the circumstances are, and with that, they're going to make the moves that are necessary to try to get ahead. And you could see it on restarts and today, to me, that's what's going to be the pattern as we go, for the next 4 or 5 races.
Finish up with 2 more here on the front row. Got Lewis, and then we'll finish with Todd.
Roger, you kind of touched upon, Louis Frank Reuters, you kind of touched upon this. What, if any, concerns do you have going forward for the number 2 team, especially in the light of the performance of the 22 this segment?
Well, I think that, we have good transparency between the 2 teams. There's no question about it. And I think, as you saw, Brad got better there at the end, made a big move, and I think that was because we're sharing data up and down the pit road, during the race. And I think that, Paul and Todd will get together with Travis and Mike this week, and they'll look at what are the things that work and what didn't. They'll use that in their playbook as we go forward.
Final question.
Todd, one last thing. We heard a lot of chatter that on some of the restarts, Kenseth would maybe brake checking guys and kind of, short stop in the field. Can you speak about that at all? Is that accurate?
There's data out there to take a look at it. I'm sure that TV and NASCAR have that. I can't speak for it. They do look like they roll up pretty slowly to the restart zone, but I can't speak for. I have no information that tells me anything differently. I know when we rolled up to the restart zone, we rolled up at pace car speed and had a good restart, and Joey was successful with it.
Congratulations to the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford, Team Penske, Roger Penske, Todd Gordon, on the 2nd straight win here today, and we'll see you at Talladega.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, Todd.
All right, if I could have everyone's attention once again. Joining us now here in the press conference room at Kansas Speedway is our race winner, Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske. Joey, another weekend in the contender round, another win, another fall chase race at Kansas Speedway, another win for you. And in doing so, you put a lot of pressure on the rest of the guys in the chase field. Just talk a little bit about your run today, how you were able to get to victory lane, and the implications for both your team and the rest of these guys in the chase heading into Talladega.
Yeah, what a fast race car again. Really, we're starting back in 14th. It wasn't where we wanted to be, but the first run we drove all the way up to 2nd. And I was like, wow, we got something today. And some of the guys made the cars quite a bit better, and they were able to kind of move up through the field and with different strategies and stuff like that. And then really the last pit stop, Todd made a great call and made some great changes. And then it's always that time to find that next level as a driver and find that next little piece to get a little bit more speed out of your car. And we was able to race hard and get back to the lead and be able to win.
All right, we'll go right ahead, open it up. If you have a question, raise your name. We'll get you a mic. Just state your name and affiliation. We'll start right here in the front with Todd from the Kansas City Star. Work our way around.
I guess what you guys are going to ask me. I bet all you guys have the same question.
Well, Joey, I think there were 5 laps to go. And can you just take me through? I mean, obviously, Kenseth kind of racing for his chase life in some respects. it seemed like you maybe had the faster car, on that run, and he's blocking you low, blocking you high. Just tell me what you saw and how all that transpired.
Yeah, it's just it's hard racing. With 15 to go, I got to the outside of him down the backstretch, and I had to lift and not get not to wreck both of us at that point. And then kind of got put in the same situation down the front stretch. And then we just happened to go in the same corner, and we both went for the same piece of real estate. I wanted that middle lane, and so did he, and just we collided there. So hard racing, we ran each other hard. He ran me hard, I ran him hard back. It's just the way I'm, the type of driver I am, type of racer I'm going to be, and it just comes to that point sometimes. It's unfortunate that those things happen, and it's just hard to, it doesn't take anything away from our win today. I'm proud of what this team's been doing. I'm proud of the way we've been racing week in and week out, and executing our weekends with not only a fast race car, but doing our jobs during the race to keep us up front. So proud of what we got.
And also to follow up, you talked Friday about how relaxed you were able to be last week after the win at Charlotte, and how much pressure other guys were under. I mean, is that even, how much of an advantage is it knowing that you're the only guy that's safe and that those other 11 guys are all really going to be on pins and needles all week, especially because it's Talladega?
Yeah, really just, we're able to go into that race and be relaxed, and that's something to be, to feel good about, because, our goal coming into this weekend was to win the race and keep, everyone not feeling too comfortable about Talladega, and really the only way you feel comfortable is if you have a win, and for us, we were able to get those two and set ourselves up in a good spot for that weekend, and then obviously be able to move to the next round. But really, I look at these last two races, and we can't be too proud of ourselves as far as, this is two tracks that are very similar. So we had two very fast race cars at very similar racetracks. But if I look at the next round, you got Martinsville, way different, right? You got Texas, it's similar but quite a bit different than what we have here, and then obviously Phoenix. So you got three way different racetracks of what we've been racing. So we can obviously be proud of what we've done, but don't just hang your hat on that. We need to definitely move forward and think about these upcoming races.
All right, we're going to go to Lewis, over to Bob, back up to the front, send it up to the press box for a couple, and then we'll work our way around back here.
Louis Franco, Reuters. Drivers who think they've been wronged have as long memories as wives who think they've been wronged. Do you have any concerns about how Kenseth will race you the rest of the year?
No, not really. I feel like he raced me the same way, so I'd be surprised if he expected something different. So we were just, like I said, we were just racing hard, and he's racing for a win, I'm racing for a win, and there's a lot of aggression there, and then that's what a sport's built on. Our sport's built on stuff like that. And going forward, we're going to race. That's what we do. That's what we do every week. We go out there and race each other, and these things always seem to happen every now and again, and you just you work it out, and eventually it all comes out fine.
All right, Bob.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. So did you intentionally turn him?
No. I think we both went for the same piece of real estate. We both went into that corner hard. I wanted to get position and get to the inside of him, and then he went for the same piece of real estate as well. And I wanted that second lane, to be able to stay on the inside of him. Thinking he may get trapped up behind one of those lap cars in front of him, because they were running the top before. They all happen to go to the bottom, but you don't know that until you're in the corner, right?
And the fact that it was Kenseth, he's, if he doesn't win, that he's going to have a hard time advancing into the next round. He's probably going to have to win Talladega. Is that a factor at all? Like, are you thinking, man, if I can win this race, I've put one of my main competitors in a huge hole?
Well, you want to win the race. That's part of the strategy when you go to this round, or really any round, is to win as often as possible to keep your competitors out. Everyone's fast in the chase right now, right? Everyone's got a lot of speed in their cars. Everyone's running up front, at points during the race. So you really just, really for us, it's just about winning trophies. We don't have to think too much deeper than that. It's just we want to go win a race. And, we look at Talladega next week and say, hey, we want to win that one too. How cool would that be? So, we'll work hard just like we've been. We'll work hard to prepare to make our cars fast there, and we'll push forward.
All right, right here in the front, and then we'll go up to the press box for a couple.
Sean Rooney, Dos Mundos newspaper. Joey, have you noticed the racing getting more aggressive or hard to use your term since the chase races started, or has it been about the same as it has been all season long?
I don't really notice it much different. Obviously this is probably more on the line now than what there is during the regular part of the season, but I don't really think, it seems like during the chase there's always, it seems like there's controversy at some point for drivers out there, but just because there's a lot on the line. I don't think people are racing harder than what they did before. Maybe in certain circumstances, if you look at, for some reason I just keep thinking of what the 31 did at Phoenix to get into the next round, and obviously we wouldn't do that if it was just a normal race, right? And why would you do something like that to get one spot at the end of a race? But you would do that to get to the next round, and you knew you had to get that spot. So, that part of the racing changes for sure. But I think, all of us are racers. All of us want to win really bad. We're all, very, competitive people that want to win trophies, and I don't think that changes from Daytona to really Homestead.
Okay, we'll go up to the press box for a couple questions.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Joey, 2 wins in your saddle. Do you go to Talladega next weekend? Sorry, there's a bad echo up here. Do you go to Talladega next weekend looking to protect Brad, or do you go for 3 for 3?
We go for 3 for 3. That's what we want. Our job is to go out there and win. It's also our job to work with our teammate. And when you go to Talladega, it's hard to win by yourself. You need to have your teammate out there and be able to work together. So I would, just like every other super speedway that you've seen so far, is that you'll see the Penske cars work together, because that's what we have to do to be up there and try to win that race. So I don't see that being any different than what we typically see. And we're both out there. We want to win, right? Our goal is to go out there and win the race. That's what our jobs are. It's my job as a race car driver for Roger Penske is to go out there and win. But I also know it's a goal for Roger to have both his cars racing in Homestead for a championship. So it's just we'll work together as we typically do any other speedway race.
Okay, another question from the press box.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. From the first time you came into the NASCAR Sprint Car Cup Series, sorry about that, I'm screwed up with the echo too.
All good.
Have you had to toughen up your skin just to kind of deal with some of the crap that you've taken over the years?
It's a tough sport, and it's like that in really in any professional sport. It's tough. It's not supposed to be easy. Wouldn't be that much fun if it was easy. We wouldn't be doing this. That's why it's at the top level of motorsports here in the Sprint Cup level. I'm proud to be a part of it, proud to be in it, proud to be winning in it. And does it toughen you up? Yeah, it toughens you up. It toughened me up pretty quick in my first 2-3 years of my career. You don't really have an option sometimes but toughen up.
Okay, we'll come back down here for a few.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. You said you raced Matt just like he raced you. He said that afterwards, maybe not the best strategical decision on your part, and he would not have done that. So when you have differing views about I raced him just like he raced me, and another driver says, well, he raced me like I didn't race him. How do you deal with that as a driver and cognizant of that on the track going forward?
Every situation is different, right? Every situation is unique on the way you handle it and move forward. The thing is that the fact of the matter is we need to go race each other again, right? It's not like the last time we were going to race each other. And we're always going to have our point of view. I'm going to have my point of view. Matt's going to have his point of view. And that's great. That's good. That's what our sport's built on. Our sport is built on hard racing. And sometimes when you're racing hard and you're racing that close, things happen, and obviously right now everyone's in the heat of the moment, so everyone's going to say what's on their mind exactly, and as you cool down, you're able to maybe look at things differently, probably for the both of us, but right now I looked at the way we raced, and I said, hey, we raced hard, and that's what happened, to me, I felt like I got raced really hard. I got the right side of my car is skinned up. That didn't I didn't just drive it in the fence. You know what I mean? So it's, I think it's just those situations that, obviously build and it makes you keep racing hard. And, it's just life. That's racing. That's what we do every week.
All right, we've got a couple in the center, and then we'll come over to Matt Weaver and back to the TV row.
This is Joel Arquente with TheRacingExperts.com. Joey, Matt Kenseth said after an interview on NBC that he was frustrated. You're not worried at like Martinsville or Phoenix that he may take his frustrations out?
If I worried about that, I probably would have run about 30th every week.
Right.
So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to drive my race car like I do every other week, and what we're going to do is be very proud of what we did today. I got a very fast race car. My team did a great job. We're doing what we're supposed to do. I want to focus on that.
Hi, Joey. Diane Cox, Advantage News out of St. Louis. I'm going to do a little topic change here.
There you go. Good job.
Prior to the race, I had asked you, has Kansas kind of become one of your favorites? And you kind of smiled and said, well, we'll kind of see after today. You won the chase race here last year. You come in, you repeated this year. Are you feeling comfortable when you come to Kansas that you can get the car dialed in? How are you feeling whenever you take the track and when you unload? Has it become easier here? Because it seems like it has with your success.
I'd say easier, but it has been our best racetrack in the last couple of years. I think this is our 5th top 5 in a row here, and then being able a couple wins within that. So it's been a really good racetrack for our race team. It fits my style. I feel like Todd Gordon, myself, kind of realized what we have to do as a team to go fast here, and he knows how to call the race. He's a guy's a genius. I'm telling you, he's very, very smart. He's fun to work with. He knows what I need. We got that chemistry, which is so hard to hard to have. But I mean, we have a friendship that goes deeper than what we do on the racetrack. Last night I hung out in his bus for 2 hours, just really even talk about our race car for about 30 minutes and just hung out, and there's a lot of value to that, and there's not a lot of race teams that have that. And, something we got, and I think we use it to our advantage.
All right, Matt, and then we'll go back for a couple in the TV row.
Matt Weaver, AutoWeek.com. I feel like in a different era of the sport, there were more unwritten rules or more gentlemanly agreements where maybe in a situation where you're locked in and someone else isn't and they're fighting for their chase life, maybe a guy in your situation wouldn't race as hard. But now with this chase format that we do have where it's so cutthroat, do you feel like now because of the format that we have, it's pretty much made you guys completely throw those unwritten rules out the window and it's like I've got to do whatever I've got to do to win races, win championships?
We go to win the race.
Do you feel like that was always the case even like 20 years
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be. If it wasn't, I'm pretty sure, you look at some of our, our legends in our sport, they didn't go out there to run second. They didn't become Hall of Famers by saying, second's good this week. We won last week. Come on.
All right, we'll go all the way back.
Dwayne Crispel, KCTV5 News. Just wondering, today may have been the last time that Kansas Speedway will get to see Jeff Gordon. What kind of impact has Jeff Gordon had on you, had on the race circuit, and maybe helping you get where you are today?
Jeff Gordon has had a huge impact on it. I think every young racer, as you're growing up as a race car driver, and really as a lot on people, you see the type of person he is. He's a great person, right? You see what he does for charity and what he does giving back. There's a great role model right there to start off with. That's something I want to base my life around. And then I see what he's been able to do on the racetrack. And, when I first started racing quarter midgets, he was the young guy in the sport, and it obviously was natural and easy to root for the young guy that's out there winning a ton of races. And, so I had all the Jeff Gordon gear, right? Just like I feel like most kids my age, when I was racing quarter midgets, I think every kid I raced against was a Jeff Gordon fan, and every other one had their car painted like Jeff Gordon. So, it is a dream come true to be out there racing against them, racing for a championship with them. It's just, it's incredible to think that. That's the coolest thing about our sport is that, these drivers can be in it for so long that, you can race against your childhood hero. When I meet kids right now and they're like, oh man, it's so cool, and they say, I'm going to be racing against you someday, and I think, there's a good chance that happens. Like, that's crazy, you know. I'm going to be old, but it'd be really cool to see that.
All right, we'll stay in the back, and then we'll go to Dustin, Stan, and we'll wrap up with Bob.
All right, congratulations on the win. Scott Traylor, Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, Sports Radio 810. We were talking to Brad Friday night after he won the pole, and he said this track, the pucker factor getting into the corner, is at all-time high. He said there's no other track on the schedule that he gets that feeling out of. He said this is number one. Do you feel the same about this track when your corner speeds are so great getting in and the average speed through the corners? Is this the number one pucker factor?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we have really a better word to explain that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I'm trying to think of more of a politically correct way of saying it, but I can't. So, yeah, we're all puckered up. I could say that. You know, we're qualifying here. Obviously, you're trying to go as fast as you can. You're trying to hold it wide open. Your car is, to be fast, you got to be loose in qualifying, and it's there's not much margin, of being able to slide the car when you're going that fast on a hard tire. So you get loose, it's like, you're going to smack the wall pretty hard. So I think that brings the pucker effect into play, which makes it a lot of fun. And hey, I give him credit. I texted him after qualifying. I was like, man, I don't know how the heck he did that. Like, I mean, it was took a lot of guts to be able to do what he did on Friday here.
All right, we'll go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Joey, especially early in your career, veterans tried to push you around on the track or off the track, and you obviously you said you've had disagreements with drivers in the past. How did that form how you drive and how you are? And had you lifted in this case as you did in the backstretch, what kind of a message does that send to the rest of the garage, the competitors, that, hey, we can muscle Joey Logano in crunch time? How important is the message? Everybody's talking about, well, maybe the message that Matt's trying to send in one way, but what kind of a message did you send, or what kind of message might have been sent had you backed off in that situation here at the end of the race?
I mean, there's, all of us, all the great racers out there are students of the sport, right? And they rewatch it and they see what the strengths and weaknesses of their competitors are. I do that. I realize, who I'm racing. Everyone keeps a little notebook on the way people race, whether it's restarts or during the race, and certain trends that they typically do when you're around them. So I think you always kind of take that into consideration a lot of times. And I wasn't trying to send no message either way. I was trying to win the race.
I understand, but I mean, had you lifted and finished second, even with
Had I lifted, I race hard because my team works hard, right? And they expect that out of me. That's as a racer. They're all racers as well, and they expect their driver to go to battle in those situations. And that's my job. And if I lifted in that situation, and and like I did down the French backstretch, if I did that twice. I'm not sure my team would be too proud to work for someone like that. I know I wouldn't want to work on someone's car that's going to roll over.
All right, we'll take our final two over here on the left. Stan first, and then Bob.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Joey, your crew chief sat in here, and he said he knew almost from the start of the race that when it came down to the end, that your determination ability would increase so much that you would win this race. that what you put out grows with almost every single lap on a run. How accurate is he?
I think when it comes down to the last run of a race, you always got to try to dig down deep and say, what else I got left? Where is it? And I have to tell myself a lot of times, hey, you gotta find more. And it's, you think a lot of times you think you're at 100%, and then when it's game time, you find another level. And I think that's what great athletes do in situations when it's game time, when it's the end of the race, when it's that make it or break it moment. And I love being in those situations. They're fun. It's a lot of fun to be a part of that. And it's what you see. The best drivers out here doing. The best drivers when it's game time, you see the cream rise to the top, and it's not easy to do. I can't say I've perfected it or I've always been that way, but I'm proud of the progress I've made as a driver to be able to find that extra level when you need it.
All right, we'll finish up with Bob.
Bob Parker, ESPN. This is kind of the first time in this new chase format that we've seen, that type of a wreck at, for the win. Do you feel like did you just kind of change the rules today at all, and in the sense of hey, you're being aggressive is okay, or ultra aggressive is okay?
I didn't change no rules today. NASCAR does the rules, Bob. I just drive the race car. NASCAR makes the rules and we play by them. There's no rules when it comes to the way we race each other, and the way we're going to race hard, and I'm going to race the way people race me, and I expect the same back. That's, and that's, I think the answer that 90% of the drivers will tell you is that if they're raced hard, they're going to race hard back. If they're raced nice and easy, they'll probably race nice and easy back. That's the way, I think if you want to call it a rule, that's the unwritten rule. If you want to call it that, that's the way we all look at the situations.
Was this first way you raced him, was that responsible that you were raced in those laps, or does it go?
No. Dude, we went for the same lane on the racetrack. What am I going to do? Go in there and take him out? I just wanted to run this. I wanted to run the second lane. So did he. Well, there's only room for one.
All right, Joey, congrats on back-to-back victories. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thanks. Simple as that. Thanks. Okay. Stay right down here.